have been killed in an airstrike by the Saudi Emirati coalition. Houthi media say warplanes targeted a camp for internally displaced people in Hodeida province. At least 20 children are believed to have been killed in the incident. Alan Fisher is following developments from neighbouring Djibouti. Joins us now live from there. So, Alan, first of all, take us through the facts that we know about what happened at this point.
Well, at this stage, nothing has been independently verified. We have a number of claims, but certainly the reports we're getting from the ground in Yemen all point in a similar direction. And what they seem to be suggesting is that late on Thursday night there was an airstrike. It was the Saudi coalition that targeted a number of vehicles 20 kilometres east of Hodeida port. There, a number of people were killed. Now, Houthi media are saying that at least 20 children were killed, that these people were internally displaced people, essentially refugees from the war in other parts of Yemen who'd moved into the area for safety, but had decided to leave the camp they were staying in because they believed it was being used by the Houthis to fire missiles towards Saudi Arabia. Certainly, initial reports suggest that at least 20 children have been killed, more than 30 in total, and those reports are being backed up by the health ministry in Sana'a. Although it's got to be said, there are a number of Houthi media outlets that are saying that the number of dead is much less. This will lead to calls for an inquiry. You'll remember it was just 2 weeks ago that the Saudis-led coalition hit a school bus that was on its way back from a summer camp. There, 40 children were killed, 11 adults were killed in that attack. The Saudis at the time defended the action, saying it was a legitimate military action, claiming that they indeed were targeting Houthi leaders, but they promised to investigate that attack. As for the United Arab Emirates, well, their state media are saying that this attack simply didn't happen, that the Houthis launched a missile attack that killed one child in that area, and they too are investigating these reports. But as I say, the reports that we're getting from the ground, from journalists in Yemen, all point in a similar direction, and that is that at least 20 children, certainly a number of children, have been killed in this Saudi-led coalition attack.
Alan, at the same time, we've got human rights organisations issuing reports critical of what's going on there. Take us through what they're saying.
Well, it's interesting this comes as Houthi leaders are saying that there isn't enough attention being paid by international bodies to what's going on in Yemen, and that their silence, particularly about the attack 2 weeks ago and this recent attack, is shameful. But here's Human Rights Watch issuing a report just in the last few hours. They say they've been looking at the operations of the Joint Incident Assessment Team, which is the Saudi-led coalition way of looking into various reports of civilian casualties. And Human Rights Watch are saying that this has fallen short of international standards, that it fails on transparency, on independence and impartiality, and says simply that the Saudi-led coalition isn't doing enough to address the concerns of civilians who are caught up in these attacks. Now, as I say, for the attack from 2 weeks ago, the Saudis say that they will investigate it, but there are many people around the world who are suggesting that the Saudis shouldn't be investigating this. They're essentially investigating themselves, and this should be an international body that is allowed access to view the evidence, to view the scene, to speak to witnesses, and then make an assessment of what's happened. And certainly that view would be backed up with what Human Rights Watch have issued just in the last few hours.
All right, Alan Fisher there. Thanks for that.